Admiral James Miller stood tall before the massive viewing window of the Stellar Confederation's meeting chamber. Earth's finest warship, the TNS Defiant, floated majestically against the backdrop of stars. Its sleek hull gleamed under the light of the distant sun, a testament to humanity's best engineering efforts. Or so the aliens thought. The chamber buzzed with whispers and subtle movements as representatives from 17 different alien species studied the ship. Their reactions ranged from poorly hidden amusement to outright dismissal. The Defiant was large by human standards, nearly a kilometer in length, but it seemed small compared to the massive vessels that had brought the alien delegates to this historic meeting. "This," Miller said, his voice steady despite the growing tension in the room, "is the pride of Earth's fleet. The TNS Defiant represents the pinnacle of our military technology." A low rumble of laughter rippled through the chamber. The sound came from the Horizon Empire's delegation. Tall, crystalline beings whose bodies sparkled with internal light. Their ambassador, First Light of Dawn, stepped forward. His crystalline form pulsed with bright colors that the human delegation's translators identified as signs of amusement and contempt. "Admiral Miller," First Light's translated voice carried clearly through the chamber. "We appreciate Earth's willingness to join the galactic community. However, we find it concerning that you would present such a primitive vessel as your finest achievement." Miller's jaw tightened slightly, but he maintained his diplomatic smile. "The Defiant has served Earth well in defending our colonies from pirates and other threats." "Pirates?" Another burst of laughter, harder this time. "You mean the scattered bands of outcasts using surplus ships from 2 centuries ago." First Light turned to address the other delegates. "Observe the hull structure, barely more advanced than simple space debris. Their weapons appear to be based on primitive kinetic principles. The energy readings suggest reactor technology at least 3 generations behind the galactic standard." The other delegates murmured in agreement. A few took notes on their data devices, likely marking Earth as a minor power, barely worth considering in galactic politics. Admiral Miller felt his face grow hot, but years of military discipline kept his expression neutral. Behind him, the human diplomatic team shifted uncomfortably. Dr. Helen Reed, Earth's chief xenotechnologist, gripped her data pad so hard her knuckles turned white. First Light wasn't finished. His crystal body now pulsed with bright, mocking colors. "Look at their attempt at shield technology. The energy matrix is so basic, it would barely deflect a solar wind, let alone a proper weapons array. And their propulsion system." He paused for dramatic effect. "They're still using reaction mass for primary propulsion. My young ones have built more sophisticated devices in their learning chambers." The chamber erupted in undisguised laughter. Even the usually stoic delegates from the Mindweb Collective rippled their thought membranes in what their species considered humor. Miller exchanged a quick glance with Dr. Reed. She gave him an almost imperceptible nod. They had expected this reaction, had planned for it, even, but experiencing it firsthand still stung. "We understand we have much to learn," Miller said calmly, his words cutting through the laughter. "Earth hopes to benefit from peaceful exchange with the galactic community." First Light's crystal form sparkled with patronizing colors. Of course. The Horizon Empire will be happy to provide guidance to your species, for appropriate considerations naturally. Perhaps we could start by discussing the security arrangements for your outer colonies. They seem so vulnerable." The threat in those words was clear, even through the translator. Miller bowed slightly, his face a mask of diplomatic politeness. "We thank the Empire for its generous offer. Earth will consider it carefully." As the human delegation left the chamber, their footsteps echoing off the polished floors, Miller allowed himself a small smile. Let them laugh. Let them underestimate humanity. They would learn soon enough what Earth was truly capable of. Behind them, the TNS Defiant continued its slow orbit, playing its role perfectly, a paper tiger hiding the claws of a real one. Deep within the asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter, Admiral Miller's shuttle approached what looked like an ordinary mining operation, but appearances could be deceiving. As the shuttle drew closer, a massive hidden door slid open in the asteroid's surface, revealing a cavernous space dock within. The shuttle glided inside, passing through layers of security screens. Miller watched through the viewport as they flew past row after row of ships. Real warships, not decoys like the Defiant. These vessels were darker, sleeker, and radiated power even while dormant. "Welcome to Phoenix Base, Admiral," the pilot said as they landed. "Fleet Commander Stone is waiting for you in the command center." Miller stepped out of the shuttle into a bustling facility that few humans even knew existed. Technicians and crew members moved with purpose between the ships. The air hummed with energy from quantum cores, technology the aliens thought humanity was centuries away from developing. Fleet Commander Elizabeth Stone met him at the command center's entrance. She was a tall woman with gray hair and eyes that had seen too many wars to waste time with formalities. "I saw the broadcast from the Confederation meeting," she said, leading him inside. "The aliens certainly seemed amused by our primitive technology." Miller allowed himself a real smile for the first time since the diplomatic disaster. "They laughed exactly as hard as we wanted them to." They entered the main control room, where a massive holographic display showed the positions of every ship in the hidden fleet. Hundreds of vessels scattered throughout the solar system in secret bases just like this one. "Project Phoenix is ready," Stone said, bringing up detailed statistics on the nearest screen. "We've completed the final tests on the quantum phase drives. The AI combat systems are fully integrated, and the gravitational weapons perform better than we hoped." Miller studied the data scrolling past, and the aliens suspect nothing. Nothing. Stone's eyes gleamed with pride. "Their scanning technology can't detect our quantum signatures. They're too focused on looking for the kind of energy emissions their own ships produce. It's like they're searching for candlelight while standing in front of a completely different kind of fire." They walked to a viewing platform overlooking the main dock. Below them, work crews swarmed around a massive ship unlike anything the Confederation had seen. Its hull seemed to drink in light rather than reflect it. "The TNS Prometheus," Stone said, "our new flagship." While they were laughing at the Defiant, we completed the final upgrades. One ship like this could handle their entire mighty fleet. "And we have 50 of them," Miller added quietly. Stone nodded, "plus the support ships, the stealth corvettes, and the quantum strike craft. We've built more than enough to defend Earth and all her colonies." She paused, looking at Miller. "The real question is, how long do we wait?" Miller watched as a quantum core was loaded into a nearby vessel, its impossible energies contained by fields that the aliens thought were centuries beyond human science. "We wait until they make their move," he said finally. "The Horizon Empire won't be able to resist trying to help protect our vulnerable colonies. Their pride demands it." He turned to Stone. "When they come, thinking they'll find helpless worlds defended by ships like the Defiant, they'll find us instead," Stone finished. Her expression hardened. "Their arrogance will be their downfall." Miller nodded. "Humanity learned long ago that the best way to keep peace is to be prepared for war. We've had centuries of fighting among ourselves to learn that lesson." Below them, the Prometheus's quantum core hummed to life, its power carefully hidden from any watching eyes. Humanity was ready. All they had to do now was wait for the Empire to spring their trap. They would learn too late that they weren't the hunters, but the hunted. The Horizon Empire's attack came 3 weeks after the diplomatic meeting. Their crystalline ships appeared near New Eden, humanity's largest colony world, their hulls shimmering with what they considered superior technology. First Light of Dawn himself commanded the fleet, eager to demonstrate his species' power. "Begin the broadcast," First Light ordered, his crystal form pulsing with anticipation. "Let the galaxy witness how we deal with primitive civilizations who don't know their place." The Empire's ships moved into attack formation. There were 30 of them, vastly outnumbering the 6 human vessels protecting New Eden. The human ships were all similar to the Defiant, seemingly simple, outdated vessels that posed no real threat to the Empire's advanced fleet. Attention human defenders. First Light's message boomed across space. Your colony is now under the protection of the Horizon Empire. Surrender your ships and prepare for occupation. Resistance would be unfortunate. On the bridge of the TNS Valor, Captain Thomas Ward received the message with a carefully hidden smile. He had his orders from Admiral Miller. Put on a good show, but don't make it too easy. Launch defensive missiles, Ward ordered. Make it look good. The human ships fired their outdated weapons. Kinetic missiles streaked across space, only to be easily deflected by the Empire's energy shields. First Light's laughter echoed through the command channel. Observe, Galaxy, he broadcasted. See how their primitive weapons cannot even scratch our shields. This is the difference between true civilization and whatever these humans think they are. The Empire's ships returned fire, their energy weapons creating beautiful but largely harmless light shows against the human vessel's shields. Captain Ward ordered his ships to react as if they were taking heavy damage. Sir, his communications officer called out. They're broadcasting this battle across all major galactic frequencies. Perfect, Ward muttered. Then louder. Order all ships to begin strategic withdrawal. Make it look like we're barely escaping. The human ships turned and fled, engines flaring dramatically. Behind them, First Light's fleet launched another volley, deliberately missing most shots, but making sure the explosions looked impressive for their audience. Similar scenes played out at 2 other human colonies. Each time, the Empire's forces found token resistance, made a great show of their superior power, and claimed another world for protection. And each time, the battles were broadcast across the galaxy. In his flagship's command chamber, First Light received congratulations from other members of the Stellar Confederation. His crystal form blazed with pride and content. You see, he addressed his audience. They didn't even lose a single ship, yet they flee in terror. Humanity must learn that the galaxy has order, and they are at the bottom of it. But on Earth, in a secure command center deep beneath the Rocky Mountains, Admiral Miller watched the broadcasts with growing satisfaction. Reports flowed in from hidden sensors near each conquered colony. The Empire's ships never detected the quantum probes analyzing their every move, recording their tactics, studying their real capabilities. They're committing more ships than we expected, Commander Stone noted, studying the data. Their pride won't let them do this halfway. Miller nodded. They want to make an example of us. Their entire strategy depends on shock and awe, on showing the galaxy their power. He pointed to a tactical display showing the Empire's fleet movements. Look here, they're gathering their main battle fleet, just as we predicted. They'll come for Earth next, Stone said. It wasn't a question. Yes, Miller's eyes hardened. They'll bring everything they have. Their pride demands nothing less than our complete humiliation. Stone allowed herself a small smile. Then they'll find all our ships gathered in one place. How convenient. Above them, on the surface, humanity appeared to be preparing for a desperate last stand. But in hidden bases throughout the solar system, the real fleet waited. The Empire thought they were springing a trap. They didn't realize they were walking into one instead. The massive Horizon Empire fleet emerged from faster-than-light travel at the edge of the solar system. 300 capital ships, their crystalline hulls gleaming in the distant sunlight, moved in perfect formation toward Earth. It was the largest fleet the Empire had assembled in a century. First Light of Dawn stood proudly on his flagship's command deck, his crystalline body pulsing with bright colors of anticipated victory. The human colonies had fallen so easily. Now it was time to claim their homeworld. Begin the transmission, he ordered. His message would be broadcast not just to Earth, but to the entire galaxy. This would be his moment of ultimate triumph. In the underground command center on Earth, Admiral Miller watched the Empire's fleet approach. Tactical displays showed the enemy vessels spreading out into an attack formation that would look impressive on camera. The aliens did love their dramatic performances. Sir, A young officer reported, "We're receiving a transmission from the Empire's flagship." "Put it through," Miller ordered. "Let's hear their grand speech." First Light's image appeared on the main screen, his crystal form blazing with confidence. "People of Earth," he began, his translated voice dripping with superiority. "Your colonies have fallen. Your ships have proven worthless. Your civilization has shown itself too primitive to manage its own affairs." Miller exchanged knowing looks with Commander Stone as First Light continued. "However, the Horizon Empire is merciful. Surrender now, accept our authority, and your people will be protected, guided, civilized. You have 1 Earth hour to lower your planetary shields and deactivate your remaining ships." The transmission ended. Around the command center, officers continued their work calmly, following the carefully prepared plan. "They're positioning their ships exactly where we want them," Stone observed, studying the tactical display. "Their formation leaves them completely vulnerable to our quantum strike patterns." Miller nodded. "Send the activation codes to all Phoenix bases. It's time to power up the fleet." Deep within asteroids, beneath the surfaces of moons, and in hidden orbital stations throughout the solar system, quantum cores hummed to life. Ships that had been invisible to Imperial scans began powering up their advanced systems. The real human fleet was awakening. "Sir," another officer called out, "the Empire's ships are launching their camera drones. They're setting up dramatic angles for their victory broadcast." "Let them," Miller said. "In fact, help them out. Power up the Defiant-class ships. Make it look like we're gathering everything we have for a last desperate stand." On the main display, they watched as Earth's small fleet of primitive ships formed up in a defensive pattern around the planet. 20 ships against 300. The Empire's fleet moved closer, their formation designed to look impressive on camera. "Quantum fleet reports ready," Stone announced. "All ships show green status. We can launch on your order." Miller checked the countdown. 10 minutes remained in the Empire's ultimatum. He took a deep breath, thinking of all the years of preparation, the careful planning, the calculated humiliation they had endured to reach this moment. "Send to all Phoenix ships," he ordered. "Prepare for emergence, weapons free. Show them what humanity can really do." In space, the Empire's fleet drew closer to Earth. Their sensors showed exactly what they expected: a handful of primitive human vessels preparing for a futile last stand. Their camera drones were perfectly positioned to capture the moment of humanity's surrender or destruction. First Light watched Earth grow larger on his view screen, his crystalline form glowing with the colors of absolute certainty. The humans had no choice but to submit. Their pitiful technology couldn't possibly. The first quantum signatures began to appear on his sensors. Then more, and more. First Light's glow dimmed slightly. "What are those readings?" he demanded. "Where are they coming from?" All around his fleet, space itself seemed to ripple. Space rippled and tore open around the Empire's fleet. Where there had been empty void moments before, massive warships now appeared. They were darker than night, their hulls seeming to bend light around them. Red energy lines pulsed along their sides like blood through veins. First Light's crystal form flickered with the first hints of fear. "Impossible," he whispered as more ships emerged. "Their technology. They couldn't have hidden this from us." On the bridge of the TNS Prometheus, Commander Stone gave the order. "All Phoenix ships, combat formation Delta. Show them what we've got." The human fleet moved with impossible speed, their quantum drives ignoring the normal laws of physics. Within seconds, they had surrounded the Empire's forces completely. Where the Empire had brought 300 ships, humanity had deployed 500. In the Earth Command Center, Admiral Miller watched the enemy fleet's reaction. "Send the response to their ultimatum," he ordered. "Let's see how they like being on the receiving end of a superior force." First Light's command screen lit up with a transmission from Earth. His crystal form paled as Admiral Miller's image appeared. "People of the Horizon Empire," Miller said calmly. "You seem confused. Allow us to explain what you're seeing." He smiled. Those primitive ships you've been mocking. Those were our decoys. These, he gestured to the surrounding fleet, are our real warships. The Empire's sensors were going crazy. They couldn't lock onto the human vessels. Their quantum phase technology made them exist in multiple states at once. Energy readings were off the charts, showing power levels that should have been impossible for primitive humans to achieve. All ships, open fire. First Light ordered in panic. Show these primitives our true power. The Empire's fleet launched their energy weapons. Brilliant beams of destructive force lanced out toward the human ships, but the beams passed right through them, hitting nothing but empty space. An interesting attempt. Miller's voice came again. Now let us show you what real weapons can do. The Phoenix fleet fired, not with simple kinetic weapons or energy beams, but with gravitational weapons that bent space itself. Waves of focused gravity swept through the Empire's formation. Crystalline hulls cracked and shattered as space itself twisted around them. This is impossible. First Light screamed as his flagship shields collapsed under forces they were never designed to resist. Their technology. They're centuries behind us. No, Miller replied. We simply let you think we were. Humanity learned long ago that appearing weak when you are strong gives you an advantage. Your empire was so busy laughing at our primitive ships, you never thought to look deeper. More quantum ships appeared from hidden positions near Earth's moon. The Empire's fleet was now completely trapped, their formation broken, their mighty ships being torn apart by weapons they couldn't understand. First Light watched in horror as his fleet was systematically destroyed. The human ships moved like ghosts through space, impossible to hit, striking with devastating precision. His mighty dreadnoughts, pride of the Empire, were being reduced to clouds of crystal shards. Hold your fire, Miller ordered after a third of the Empire's fleet had been destroyed. Give them a chance to surrender. The gravitational attacks stopped. The quantum fleet hung in space like dark angels of death, waiting. First Light's crystal form had dulled to a pale, frightened glow. His mighty fleet was in ruins, his reputation shattered like his ships. And worst of all, he knew that every moment was being broadcast across the galaxy, just as he had planned. The humans had turned his moment of triumph into a demonstration of their power. In trying to humiliate Earth, he had only succeeded in revealing humanity's true strength to the entire galaxy. Well? Miller's voice came again. What is your answer, First Light of Dawn? Will you surrender, or shall we continue? First Light's surrender was only the beginning. Within hours of the Empire's defeat at Earth, Admiral Miller launched humanity's counter-offensive. The Phoenix fleet split into 5 battle groups, each targeting a different sector of Empire space. On the bridge of the TNS Prometheus, Commander Stone watched as her ships emerged from quantum space near one of the Empire's major military bases. The base was built into a massive asteroid, its surface bristling with weapon platforms and defense stations. They still haven't updated their detection systems, Stone noted with satisfaction. They can't see us coming. The Empire's commanders had sent urgent warnings about humanity's true capabilities, but their leaders had dismissed the reports as exaggerations. They couldn't believe that primitive humans could possess such advanced technology. Their mistake would cost them dearly. All ships, attack pattern Omega, Stone ordered. Show them what happens when you underestimate humanity. The Phoenix ships accelerated, their quantum drives bending space around them. Empire sensors detected nothing until it was too late. The first sign of attack was when their outer defense platforms began to crumble, crushed by invisible forces. Enemy ships detected. An Empire officer shouted in panic. Their weapons, they're tearing apart our gravitational fields. Stone allowed herself a small smile. The Empire relied heavily on artificial gravity for their crystalline bodies. They'd never imagined someone could turn gravity itself into a weapon. Across Empire space, similar scenes played out. Human ships appeared from nowhere, struck with devastating force, and vanished before the defenders could respond. Their quantum phase technology made them impossible to target. while their gravitational weapons ignored shields and armor alike. In the Earth Command Center, Admiral Miller reviewed reports from all battle groups. "Status update," he ordered. "Battle Group Alpha has secured the Centauri sector," an officer reported. "Battle Group Beta has neutralized 3 major Empire fleet bases. Groups Gamma and Delta are pushing toward their core worlds. Empire resistance is crumbling." Miller nodded. The Empire had built their entire society around the belief in their technological superiority. Now that belief was being shattered, system by system. A message came in from the Stellar Confederation. Other alien races were watching humanity's campaign with a mixture of fear and awe. The Empire's broadcasts of their victory over Earth had backfired completely, instead showing the galaxy humanity's true power. "Sir," the communications officer called out, "we're receiving surrender offers from 12 Empire systems. They're asking for terms. Accept their surrenders," Miller ordered, "but keep pushing toward their homeworld. The Empire needs to understand that the age of looking down on humanity is over." In the Prometheus's command center, Stone received new orders. Her battle group would lead the final strike at the Empire's capital world. The quantum fleet gathered, their dark hulls forming a wall of unstoppable force. "All ships report ready," her tactical officer announced. "The Empire's home fleet is attempting to form a defensive line, but their formations are chaos. They're terrified of our ships now." Stone thought back to the diplomatic meeting, where the Empire had mocked humanity's primitive vessels. How quickly things had changed. "Send to all ships," she ordered. "Begin final approach. Remember, we're not here for revenge. We're here to show them that humanity will no longer tolerate being treated as inferior." The Phoenix ships moved forward as one, their quantum drives humming with power that the Empire had thought impossible for humans to control. They had laughed at humanity's apparent weakness, never realizing that appearing weak was part of humanity's strength. Now, as their mighty fleets crumbled and their defenses fell, the Empire was learning a lesson that humans had known for centuries. True power lies not in showing your strength, but in knowing when to reveal it. The great crystal spires of the Empire's capital world sparkled in the light of its twin suns. In the planet's high orbit, the remains of the once mighty Imperial fleet drifted helplessly, their ships reduced to glittering debris by human quantum weapons. Admiral Miller stood in the same chamber where, just weeks ago, the Empire had mocked humanity's ships. But now, the room was different. The crystalline aliens didn't stand tall with pride anymore. They huddled together, their forms glowing with the dull colors of defeat and fear. First Light of Dawn, once so confident, now approached Miller with a formal document. His crystal form had lost its bright sparkle, now showing only pale, subdued colors. "The Empire," First Light's voice cracked. "The Empire formally surrenders to Earth. We accept all terms without condition." Miller took the document without comment. The terms were fair but firm. The Empire would disband its military, pay repairs to damaged human colonies, and acknowledge Earth as an equal power in the galaxy. "The document is accepted," Miller said simply. He looked around the room at the gathered representatives from other alien races. They had all come to witness this historic moment. None of them were laughing now. In the sky above, the TNS Prometheus hung like a dark star, its quantum engines humming with power that the aliens were only now beginning to understand. Similar ships patrolled every major system in what had been Empire space, ensuring the peace would hold. "There is one more thing," Miller added, his voice carrying through the silent chamber. "A lesson that the galaxy needs to learn." He activated a holographic display, showing scenes from human history. Images of wars, peace treaties, technological advances, and space exploration filled the air. "Humanity spent centuries fighting itself," Miller explained. "We learned hard lessons about war, peace, and power. One of the most important lessons was this: true strength isn't about showing off. It's about knowing when to hold back and when to strike." The aliens watched in silence as the images continued, showing humanity's hidden preparations, the secret shipyards, the advanced technology they had developed in secret. "We knew first contact was coming," Miller continued. "We knew some races might see us as easy targets, so we prepared. We let you see what you expected to see. A young, primitive race taking its first steps into space." Commander Stone stepped forward, carrying a data crystal containing the full technical specifications of human quantum technology. "This is our gift to the galaxy," Miller announced. "Not as conquerors, but as equals. We share this knowledge freely, asking only one thing in return." The alien representatives leaned forward, eager to learn the secrets of human power. "Remember this day," Miller said firmly. "Remember what happened when you judged a species by its appearance. Remember what happened when you chose mockery over respect." First Light's crystal form flickered with understanding. "You could have shared this technology from the beginning," he realized. "You could have impressed us, joined the galaxy as a major power immediately." Miller smiled. "But then you wouldn't have learned the lesson, would you? Sometimes the best way to teach is to let others make their mistakes." The chamber was silent as the implications sank in. Humanity hadn't just defeated the Empire. They had taught the entire galaxy a lesson about prejudice and assumption. "The age of the Empire is over," Miller declared. "But this isn't about replacing one dominant power with another. This is about building something better. A galaxy where species are judged not by their appearance or their apparent level of technology, but by their actions and character." He looked around the room, meeting the eyes of each alien representative. "So, who's ready to build this new future together?" One by one, the alien representatives stepped forward. A new era of galactic civilization was beginning, one shaped by the wisdom of a species that had learned to hide its strength until the right moment. The humans had arrived on the galactic stage not as conquerors or victims, but as teachers. And their first lesson had been unforgettable.